The reason that we bottleneck our business and we can't generate leads and we're not generating leads is because we've forgotten to make it about the audience that we're targeting. So this really comes back to one core fundamental thing that we have to remember, and that is we are not speaking to everybody. Well, hey there, and welcome to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm Sam Hine, and I am so excited today to share with you some key strategies that I personally implement every single week in my business. And I got asking myself, what are some of the most important things for anyone to be doing on a regular basis to grow their business? Lead generation. This is such a big one. And it's also one that I know if we could all do better, we would be in a much better place. Yet for a lot of us, probably you, if you're listening to this episode, struggle sometimes to come up with ideas to generate leads. Well, I'm going to go back to basics and I'm going to share with you what I would do right now if I wanted to generate more leads for my business this week. And what I'm going to do is talk to you about this from a couple of different angles. I'm going to talk to you about what I actually do constantly every single week, but I'm also going to talk to you about what I would do more of right at the beginning of my business, knowing what I know now. Now, these strategies can be applied to any business, no matter what you do. And I'm going to give you some examples as we go, but you can tailor these to fit you. That's the beauty of these trainings within this podcast is there's no one rule fits all. You've got your own recipe, your own audience, your own products, your own business opportunities. And you want to work those to work for you. So I'm not going to sit here and go, this is the one way to do it, but I do want you to think a little bit outside the square. Generally, the reason that we are stuck, the reason we're not generating leads is because we've gone from creative thinking to selling. We've gone from relational to telling. We've gone from sharing to telling people what we need them to do, broadcasting, and none of those things are going to be effective. So if you've fallen into the trap of selling and telling and broadcasting, then let's reframe. And I want to give you some quick and easy tips you can literally apply off the back of this episode to generate leads right now for your business. So let's dive on in. Okay, the first thing is in order to generate leads for your business, we do need to come back to basics a little bit. What often happens is the reason that we bottleneck our business and we can't generate leads and we're not generating leads is because we've forgotten to make it about the audience that we're targeting. So this really comes back to one core fundamental thing that we have to remember, and that is we are not speaking to everybody. This can be a little bit hard to apply if you have this fear that if I narrow my focus down, I'm going to alienate people. Remember, when you narrow your focus, when you niche down who you're speaking to and you get super clear about that, you are actually going to attract more people because people will know who you are, what you do, who you serve, and what it is that you can offer them. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Just think about that accordion player who busks in the mall. He knows that his instrument is alienating. I remember seeing one in Vegas when we were walking over one of their little overpass bridges there. And this guy was playing the accordion. He was loving it. He was right into it. And people were quite literally beelining around him so that they didn't have to even look like they were interested in what he was playing. But he didn't put the instrument down. He didn't change his tune. He didn't pick up a different instrument. He didn't stop and walk away because he knew something. He knew that I have a very specific target customer who loves what I do. I have an audience. I have a dream person that I'm here to serve, and I'm going to stand here and wait until that person shows up. So he kept going. Eventually, I watched something interesting happen. An old guy comes and he walks over and he throws a coin in the case and he starts tapping his feet and clapping his hands. And his wife is standing next to him. She's doing the same thing. Meanwhile, crowds keep walking past him. A moment later, somebody else breaks free from the crowd and comes over and does the same thing. And then a few moments later, someone else does the same thing. Before I knew it, I was watching a very interesting phenomenon. And if you've ever seen The Lone Nut on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, check it out. It's a really great video. People follow people. People started stopping and joining the crowd, not because they cared about the accordion, but because they didn't want to miss out on whatever everyone was there for. People were drawn by the crowd. And this happens in your business too. Once you start to generate momentum and generate leads and build business, people will follow people. They will come to you because someone else tells them you're amazing and what you have to offer, they want to, and they will join you. And they might be outside of your existing ideal target customer model or picture. But that won't happen until you get really clear about who that is. So first step here is understand who your audience is. Then understand what it is you have to offer them. And then find the value in what you have. So a couple of really quick things here to help you out with this. Ask yourself, what are some key ways that I could provide value to my audience? Now, there's two key things that I would do in order to generate leads straight away for my business. But you want to kind of map this process out. You don't want to do this without having a little bit of a plan. And sometimes that plan kind of finds itself. But if I wanted to generate leads right now, and I've done this sort of thing many, many times, what I would start by doing is identifying something that my audience would find valuable. So it might be, and how about I do this here on this episode? It might be a lead magnet cheat sheet. You know, a lot of you guys want to know, how can I generate leads? Well, a lead magnet is a brilliant way to do it. A lead magnet is what I call the two-step post. It's where you offer something of value, but in order for them to get it, they have to tell you they want it. That then has them identify themselves to you. So I might say, who wants my 100 lead magnet cheat sheet? If you let me know, I'll send it through to you, 100 lead magnet ideas that you can use in your own business to generate leads instantly. Now, it does exactly what it says it's going to do. So you might come up with a recipe that you know your target audience might love. You might create a how-to, a video tutorial. Now, keep in mind, a lead magnet needs to be something of value that doesn't require them to be a customer already to get the benefit of. It also can't require them to become a customer to get. So a lead magnet is simply saying, I have a piece of value I will give you if you say you want it, right? And that piece of value needs to be something that anyone can benefit from. So I'm going to use Thermomix as an example because it's a really easy one to understand. If you understand Thermomix, it's an amazing cooking device that is in the direct selling industry. If you're in Australia, you know it hands down exactly what it is. My US friends, you may know of it. So it's an amazing machine and it does everything you want it to do in your kitchen. It cooks, it chops, it just does it all. So imagine you're a Thermomix consultant and you want to attract more people that might be your ideal dream customer. Now, once you've identified what they value, you might decide, okay, I know that my audience values recipes that are homemade, that mean they don't have to buy things from the supermarket anymore. So things like they love to make yogurts and stock paste and all of those things that they would normally buy in a bottle, they like to make them for themselves. You might identify that they are a gourmet cook and they like to do tricky things. You might identify that they have a baby and they have young children or kids at school and they're looking for really easy, healthy family solutions. You might identify that they want to reduce waste. And so they want to use up all of the ingredients in their kitchen. So what you can do once you identify what some of these things are, you might offer a little recipe. It could even be an ebook. You might come up with 4 or 5 recipes that you put together, or just one. But here's the key, and this is where I'm going with this, and why I'm using the Thermomix as an example. If you only give them recipes that require the Thermomix to make them, you're only going to attract existing customers, which kind of defeats the purpose. So this example goes with anyone, whether you sell cosmetics, whether you are offering a business opportunity, maybe you're not even focusing on product. Whatever it is, you want to be thinking about people who are not yet a customer or don't yet have the business opportunity so that it also benefits them, but it shows them the benefit of having the product or the business. So, if coming back to the Thermomix example, if you offer a lead magnet that is, say, a recipe, let's just say that you identify there's someone who has young kids. And so you might come up with a series of, say, 4 or 5 recipes. Cheat for you here. If you use Canva, there's loads of templates in there ready to rock and roll. If you're in our memberships and using Oxano Social, we've already created a lot of these lead magnets for you. So you can go in there and just edit a few things, drag and drop a few things in and out. So you don't have to go to all the effort of creating anything. It's already done. Use templates. So let's just say kids, you've got some lunchbox ideas or some baby food recipes, right? And you say, hey, I've got this cool little ebook for easy lunchbox ideas on a budget that are super healthy. Kids won't even know they're healthy. They'll love them. These are suitable for anyone, whether you have a Thermomix or not. No, you don't. These recipes give you both options. And this is where you will start to attract people who are outside of your customer base. Now, this is the key here. If you do the right sort of lead magnet, you are going to identify people who are your target customer because the lead magnet itself will qualify them. This is why I say to people, don't do a lead magnet that every man and his dog wants. Like, don't do a competition where you say, I'm going to give away a night's accommodation or a restaurant voucher, because everyone's going to ask for that. You want it to be a lead magnet that deliberately attracts people you've identified are your target customer base. So if you've identified your target customer base is a mum with young children, you're going to provide a lead magnet that a mum with young children will be interested in. Now, get creative. It doesn't even have to involve your product. It can involve nothing to do with your product or your business opportunity, because all you're trying to do is attract this person to you so you can start the meaningful conversation. So you could, if that was your target customer, make it something like 10 school holiday craft ideas or how-tos. It could be places to visit with your kids. It could be packing tips with children. There are loads and loads of things that you could come up with. Remember, we have got a special little download that I'm going to gift you as my lead magnet. So I'm going to show you how this works. If you would like my 100 lead magnet ideas cheat sheet, just go to the show notes with this podcast episode, and I'll give you the link to that. So you can grab that for yourself, and it gives you all of these ideas there. So we don't need to list through them now. So the trick with this is I would identify who my target customer is. I would then identify something they value, and I would dangle the carrot. Now, I would simply ask them to tell me if they want whatever it is that I'm offering. Now, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it might not. Sometimes it'll surprise you. Don't be discouraged if you offer your lead magnet and you get no response. You need to play around with these things in order to work out what is going to work for your audience. And by the way, if you're only starting out, you may only get 1 or 2 people interact. Maybe you won't get anyone at all at the beginning because you're growing your following. But practice is what makes perfect. Don't wait for perfect before you practice. So have a go. If it doesn't work, make an adjustment, try it again the following week. So lead magnet, dangle the carrot, tell people to comment if they want it, and then privately start the conversation. So you send the lead magnet on. Now, here's where it turns into a lead. Let's say my lead magnet was school holiday ideas or craft ideas, and because I've identified my ideal target customer as young mums. So when they respond or when I send it to them, I might ask them a question like, hey, how old are your kids? I might have some really cool recipes I could send through to you as well. So you can see how once you start that conversation, you can start asking questions to get to know them. Questions are going to lead to information that's going to help you steer them towards wherever you want them to go. So if I wanted to generate more leads for my business, I would start with a lead magnet. The second thing I would do is I would do regular reach outs. Now, reach outs are something that is so fun to do. They don't feel like work, but they are super powerful. Why? Because your network is your net worth. Okay, so I would set some time in my calendar every day. I actually do this, by the way, every single day. I set time in my calendar and I allocate time to connect with people. Now, my favorite way of connecting, because it's fast, it creates curiosity and intrigue. People have to click on it to see what's in there, and it's personal, is voice notes. So what I do is I spend about 10 minutes every day, and in 10 minutes, by the way, I can punch out 10 voice notes. If I was typing a message or doing anything else, it would take me way longer than that. So I allow 10 minutes a day. I do at least 10 voice notes, and all I'm doing is touching base with a group of different people. So the first person I'm touching base with are existing clients and customers. Why? Because I want to nurture the people I have, because they're the ones that become my raving fans, and they're the ones that are going to spread word of mouth. So they're actually very important for me to nurture. The second type of person is somebody who I know of or I've connected with, I've maybe started building a relationship with, but they're not a customer yet. And the third is someone who I don't yet know, but I want to know. So it might be someone that I've watched, maybe they've interacted on something in my content. Maybe it's someone I found out about that would be really great for me to work with that I haven't yet met. So I'll do a little bit of research. I'll find a few people who I would love to work with, and then I'll do reach outs to them. And I might send them an encouraging message. I might touch base with them and even do something like invite them to join me on my podcast. For you, that might look like, hey, I'd love to have a quick chat. I noticed you're into XYZ and I'd love to pick your brain or learn a little bit more about that. It may be, hey, so-and-so mentioned you. They told me that you're interested in XYZ. Would you be interested in having a coffee with me, because I'm keen to hear a little bit more about what you're up to? Whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it should not be selling. So voice notes, a great thing to do. Remember to include nurturing your existing customers, because they're the ones that are going to shout about you from the rooftops. All right, last but not least is the third thing that I would do if I wanted to generate leads really quickly, and that is a good quality engagement post. Engagement posts are inviting that two-way interaction. They're super fun, super powerful, and they tick several boxes. The first box a good engagement post ticks, of course, is to build engagement. And engagement is a snowball effect. The more you have on your page or your profile, the more you will get. So a good engagement post is a brilliant thing to do to help your social media get seen by more people. The second thing that it does is it pulls the animals out of the forest. It has people commenting, which helps you identify who's looking at your content. The thing you got to keep in mind is lots of people watch your stuff that you don't know about. And this is why I say to people, just because they're not interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. So keep going. Don't assume that no comments means no eyes. So a good engagement post will pull some of those people out so you can see who's checking your stuff out. The third thing that it does is it opens up the dialogue. And fourthly, it teaches you things about them. So if you ask good quality questions, and we have actually got inside of our memberships, we've got a cheat sheet with 100 engagement questions that you can ask based on the things you want to know. So if you want to learn the demographic of your fans and followers, if you want to learn what problems in life they want to solve, if you want to learn what they value, if you want to learn if they have kids or what gender they are, we've got questions lined up for you to ask to help you work those things out. So I'll give you a little example of this. One of my favorites to help work out what people value is to get them to do something like a complete this sentence post. To respond to a quick complete this sentence. So here's one that I love to do every now and again. I'll give you two different ones because both of these are super powerful. One of them is complete this sentence. Honey, I love you so much. I'm going to buy you another ... Now, this one's great because it's fun, it's easy to answer. Remember, a good engagement question should be able to be answered in seconds. Don't ask open-ended questions like, tell me what you love most about your mum. Really make it easier. So if you're going to ask a question like that, just reframe it. Tell me one word to describe your mum. Now, anyone can answer that in a couple of seconds. But tell me what you love about your mum, that could take days for some people. So make it easy to answer. So the honey, I love you so much, I'm going to buy you another ... question is really easy to answer on the fly. The other thing is it's fun. It's clearly not selling, but it's telling you a lot about them. So when they respond, they're going to tell you something they value. They might say a plant, a lip balm, clothes, shoes. Suddenly you learn about something that they love and that they value. And you can start to have a bit of a laugh with them. You can start to connect with them over what they love. Let's just say they come back and say shoes. Now, you may recognize, hey, I also love shoes. So I'm going to comment with it. I'm going to send them a message back or comment back and say, hey, have you ever seen this brand of shoes? They are amazing. Now, I'm not talking about shoes that you sell. I'm talking about providing value and starting meaningful conversation. Once you start doing this and you build that trust up, they're more likely to talk to you about what you do. But we've got to date them first. In other words, we've got to build the relationship with them first and make it appropriate to start the business conversation if and when the opportunity arises. Remember that not every conversation will lead to that, but you're not going to know if you don't start a conversation. And directly selling is definitely a big no-no. Now, I said I was going to give you 2 engagement post ideas. So there's honey, I love you so much, I'm going to buy you another. The other one is something along the lines of, and you can, move this one around however you want, but it's got the same connotation where it tells you something that they value. Could be if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only take 3 things with you, what would you take? Or if I gave, and I love this one, by the way, I'm going to give you one more, because this one's really great for learning about what they know about your products and your business, but also seeds it as well. So if you ask a question like, if I gave you $100 and you could spend it on any product in our range, now keep in mind, you're better off not using the business name unless you have to, because the algorithm does pick up on brand names as well. So if it thinks you might be selling, and again, it's a bit of a sliding scale, you might reach slightly less people. So you can be a bit tricky with your wording here to really get more people to see it. So you could say something like, if I gave you $100 to spend on any product in our range, what would you buy? Or you could simply say this is how I do it. If I gave you $1,000 and you had to spend it on yourself in the next 24 hours, what would you spend it on? Now, the reason I love the dollar amount idea is because it almost flags this little question in their mind, which is, do you think they might actually give that away? If they do, I want to get it. So I'm going to answer the question. So again, it's going to help identify things that they love in your range. So now you know, well, when this product has a special deal or there's a package offer or whatever it is, you can reach out to that person and go, hey, I remember you said to me a while ago that you would love XYZ. Well, guess what? We've just got this really cool little deal that's popped up. And so I thought of you straight away and I'm sending it through. So can you see how it goes from just a comment to you being able to start meaningful conversation that leads potentially to a new sale? So many things that you could do. The biggest thing though is start. Whether it is reaching out and connecting with 2 or 3 people, it's better than sitting here going, I don't know what to do. Or whether it is trying a lead magnet. You don't have to have done one before or have it perfect. If you're inside of our memberships, of course, we've got tons of lead magnets. They're ready made for you to use. You just grab one that's relevant for you and dangle the carrot and see what happens. We've also, don't forget, inside of our Academy program, and we'll put a link as well in the show notes in case you want to learn more about that program. But inside of our Academy program, we also have a complete training step by step on how to create and roll out a lead magnet. So if you haven't checked that training out and you are inside of our membership, please make sure that you do. And if you'd like to learn more about our membership, I'd love to invite you to join the Oxano family and keep going on this journey. We would love to keep teaching you, supporting you, and helping you. But super quick tips for today. No matter what, make sure off the back of this episode you apply something. It doesn't have to be complicated. Any step that is moving forward is moving in the right direction, even if it's tiny. So I hope you found this super valuable. Make sure you share it with a friend. Help us get the word out there and have an amazing week. We look forward to seeing you on the podcast again next week. That's it from me. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.